On this episode of K3VBOT's Garage, I'll buy a truck for $450 and try to make it do stuff. So here it is. This is the $450 Dodge D150 truck. It's got a little 318 in it with a 727 auto trans, and it actually looks really solid. There's a little spot of rust right there, but the rest of the quarters and door bottoms, I guess there's a little bit in the rocker right there. And my dog's having fun with it too. Just put the grill back on it. That wasn't on it a little bit ago, but you can see just how solid she really looks on the outside. I have a suspicion underneath's not going to be quite the case, because I bought this truck for $450. The fella I got it from said it needed upper control arms and it had a bad fuel line. So we're gonna test out that theory and give her a try. So here's our little 318. Doesn't look too bad. Wow, look at those inner fender wells. Those are nice and pretty. Use a little cleaning, but yeah, them aren't too bad at all. Nice new battery. EverStart. A little 2-barrel carburetor on her. Looks like she was set up for AC at one point, but that pump's all froze up. Well, I was told this truck ran, minus the fuel line. Lucky for me, I got a little Chrysler key here. So I'm just gonna climb in here and see if I can get her to even bump over. See if this is even worth doing anything with, or figure out if it was supposed to be parted out for a reason. Teeth up on a Chrysler key. Oh, Jesus. That sucker wants to run. This is gonna be way too easy. I say that now, and then we're gonna climb under it and it's gonna be a different story. I did notice that this floor pan here is just a piece of wood. And yeah, you can see right down through there. Hello. That might be an issue. I might fix that. Never. Alright, well, I think she's gonna run. We're gonna tackle that fuel line and then take a look at those control arms. Alright, so I think I found our fuel line issue. It's these hard lines right here. They look pretty rough. Look like I could probably just push my finger right through them. Don't necessarily want to do that, but there's a rubber line. Looks like going to the front of the tank or back of the tank. One going to the front. One's probably a vent. I'm gonna guess that one, just based on the height of it. But yeah, those are just freaking toast. And that rubber line has a big old gash in it. And these hard lines here that run along this frame rail are really just not very good at all. So I need to decide if I want to run hard line or if I want to go cheap and do it the wrong way and run just a really long rubber line. I think I know where this is going already. Another thing I need to find out is if this fuel pump here is good or bad. I can look down here and the fuel filter looks like garbage. There is another one in the glove box, so we'll probably just go ahead and swap that out when I do all these lines. And then that fuel pump up there, it doesn't look too bad from here. I think what I'll do is swap out those fuel lines and see if I can even get fuel up to the carburetor here. Might see if I can go ahead and get a carb rebuild kit while I'm at the parts store. take a picture of a couple numbers on it and go from there. Alright, just got back from my favorite stores, Advanced Auto. Pay out the ass there, but got some much needed supplies, like a whole roll of fuel line. And then I also got rubbing compound, and this rubbing compound that's a little bit more liquid. And reason being is this truck is like this pale red color. Hi Holly, you like that shade, don't you? It's like this pale red color everywhere except for right here where it's actually fairly shiny. And reason being is the truck sat on a farm and there was a tree about right here which blocked all the sun from hitting this little section of the tail. Well, I kind of rubbed it a little bit with, spit on the truck and rubbed it with my fingers basically, and I could see that some of the color was coming back. So I believe this is, and I'm gonna botch this, is it single stage paint, where you can just get on it with a rubbing compound because it doesn't have a clear coat, or if it does have a clear coat, it's not like it's flaking or anything, it just fades really bad. So I think the Roadkill guys showed doing that one time on, I think it was Freiburger's Roadrunner. So we're going to try the same thing right here on this truck. Well, gotta love this. These little metal clips just kind of broke right in half when I went to remove this fuel line off the top of the tank, and also took the little metal nipple off the top on both lines. I think that's probably the fuel line because it's thicker. That may be some kind of fuel return. There is enough of a nipple still up there on both of those that I think I'm going to be able to get away with just putting some new rubber line on it and using some of these little hose clamps to kind of strap her down pretty good. So I've gotten my new rubber fuel line ran. Goes right there into the fuel pump. I pulled out our old fuel filter here. We're going to throw this one in it because it is in much better condition. So we're going to get rid of this one, just kind of throw it out. And plug that one in. Make sure we're going to get fuel out of that fuel pump. I believe it's good. We had some fuel come right out of it, and I cranked it over. There's a open end of the fuel line right there, and then we got this hard line right here that feeds right into the carburetor. Still not sure the condition of the carburetor completely, but she didn't exactly want to turn over when I cranked on it last, so we'll cut a couple small fuel lines to get that adapted in, and we'll give her a shot. So we've got our new fuel lines and our new fuel filter put in. If you look down in there, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. When we hit the throttle, we get fuel down in there. So we're getting fuel, that's not an issue. So we just got to figure out now why she won't fire up. I just went and flipped the key, and it pretty much did the same exact thing where it would sputter. I did put some fresh gas in it. I'm sure there's some garbage gas in there. Didn't smell too horrible, but who knows. She's trying. So I started messing around to figure out if we had spark or not. And I used this little cheating device and determined that we do. So this jumps the spark plug wire to the spark plug. It's got a little light inside of it, and when I crank it over, it lights up, which means, well, we're getting power at least to the spark plugs. I did figure something different out though. When I turn the key to the on position, nothing really happens, but when I turn it and do it to fire up, like the starting position, it'll crank, and if I keep holding the key in the starting position, it'll run. My suspicion is maybe we're not getting power to the coil, or continuous power. Maybe it's just shorting out somehow. So I'm gonna start tinkering with that a little bit, but I can show you if I turn the key on. And as soon as I come off and just have it in the on position rather than starting, she dies. One more thing to play around with. So in order to jump the solenoid here, I'm going to make a direct wire from the battery to the cylinder. And I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to use a toggle switch, that way I don't kill the battery. So if you look back there, I've got a little red wire to the solenoid. And then I have it going through the firewall. There's a couple lines, which are going to come right out here, about 1 and 2. And then that second one comes out at the firewall. We'll follow it along, and then it'll connect to the battery terminal. So it's going to work as a kill switch, and I've got one of these handy switches from Lowe's, and it's just kind of a simple off and on situation. And I'm going to mount that right down in here somewhere. That way you'll turn that on to get power to the solenoid. You'll be able to use the key to start the truck. The truck actually will probably stay running once you turn the key off, but you flip that solenoid switch, it'll kill the power to the solenoid. So that should do it. We're gonna get that finished wired up here, and we should have this thing rocking and rolling down the road. And then we gotta do the control arms. Oh. Burning off some rat turds in there, I'm sure. She sounds pretty good though. Oh, she's gonna smoke out the house. That's gonna make the lady happy. Woo! Alright, well, she runs. See if she does anything else, like burnouts. Makes a lot of smoke. Yeah, that might be a problem. I don't know yet. Enough horse playing, back to work. So when I got this truck, it didn't have almost any of the front end on it. I have been kind of tinkering this away a little bit at a time. You probably saw the truck a little bit earlier. It just had the grill in it, and then this metal piece here. I went ahead and put the headlight bezels back on it, and then the last thing that I really need to put on is this hunkin' piece of meat. So I'm not looking forward to doing that on my own, although it should make for an interesting time. So I've gotten the wheel off here, and you guys are either gonna laugh or you're gonna cry when you see this thing. Nice disc brakes. That is the upper control arm. It is cracked, rusted through, warped, and that is not going to be that enjoyable to replace. I didn't realize this was a coilover suspension either. That's going to be enjoyable, to say the least. Yeah. We'll go with that. We'll see how badly seized all this stuff is in here. Because we've got, boom, brand new shiny parts. And I hope they're gonna work. We're gonna find out. This looks like the passenger side. And we got our driver's side hiding down there. So I'm gonna get started, and this will be interesting, to say the least. Yeah, it's been a while since I've just straight broken a tool. The Stanley ratchet here didn't hold up all that well. That's too bad, I had that one for a while. So I don't know if that's really going to be worth my while to replace. I might try a couple more things, just finagle with it a little bit, but if not, I might just sell the truck with new control arms included but not installed. Yeah, that might happen. We'll find out here in a second. Instead of doing the important stuff like fixing the control arms, I'm gonna do unimportant stuff like washing the truck. I was right about the paint. If you look at the way the top of the truck here is, this is how I got it. Now, you can see a fine line difference between where I got it and where I washed it. And then there's also a difference between where I washed it and where I waxed it with this rubbing compound. This stuff's amazing. Look at the difference there. That's ridiculous. This truck's actually gonna look pretty darn good. So this is my weapon of choice for buffing this pig. She is intense. And as you can see, I've already started because this pad started yellow, but she is not anymore. If you look at that glare you can see down the side of that truck. Ooh, buddy. I can see my reflection in it now, compared to just being like a pale orange color. Alright. How about that? Outside of the truck's done and it looks fabulous. So instead of doing the control arms this time, I'm gonna clean out this interior because it's pretty terrible. Not to mention the tears in the seats and that kind of stuff, but yeah, this is just an old farm truck. Needs a cleaning out. And there she is, all clean. Still a little bit of water sitting. I ended up hosing this out, scrubbing it with a little bit of soap and water. Used a little seat cleaner here on these. Well, actually the seat's not too bad. I can't rag on it too much. Dashboard's pretty clean. That's as clean as I can get it with just what I was willing to do. So that's it. We're gonna go romp on her a little bit. Alright, well, let's go for a little bit of a test drive. This thing does have a seatbelt buzzer, so I'm gonna buckle in. Mostly because I don't feel like listening to it. And it's a little bit windy out here, so I apologize about the noise. one's done. Still didn't do the control arms. And it still pulls to the right pretty good. So, guess it is what it is. And there's no license plate on it. Look at the camber on this wheel. That's just ridiculous. I should probably actually come back and do this control arm at some point. Yeah. This thing smells horrible. And it's smoking like a chimney. This is going to be a quick trip. Nope, she don't like that too well. That is it for this episode. I have a feeling you'll see the D150 once again in the future when we fix what we should have in the first place with the upper control arm and figuring out why it smokes. But until next time, I'm K3VBOT's Garage.